You ever stop and think about how something like YouTube or, I don't know, your favorite online game just works? Like all the time, day in, day out, it feels like they never ever go down. So how on earth is that even possible? Well, it turns out there's this whole team of super smart engineers working behind the scenes, kind of like wizards, making sure everything stays up and running. So in this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain and meet these amazing engineers. We're going to find out exactly who they are, learn their secret language, which is all about numbers, by the way, and figure out how they pull off this incredible balancing act between rolling out cool new features and making sure nothing breaks. And yeah, we'll even get a little sneak peek into the future of how all this stuff is going to work.
All right, let's dive right in. First up, we need to understand the huge problem these engineers were brought in to solve in the first place.
No, really, just think about it for a second. You've got millions, maybe even billions of people watching videos, sending emails, playing games, all at the exact same time. Trying to keep a website that massive, running without a single hiccup, that is a gigantic challenge. Just one tiny little bug could create an absolute mess for, well, everybody.
Okay, so the answer has a name. It's called Site Reliability Engineering. We just call it SRE for short. And the main idea is actually really simple and really smart. Instead of just waiting around for something to break and then scrambling to fix it, you use your coding skills to build websites that are designed not to break. And even better, if they do have a problem, they can often fix themselves automatically.
And this whole thing, it actually started at Google. There was this engineer, Ben Traynor-Sloss, who asked a really powerful question. He basically said, hey, what if we treated running our websites like a software problem? What if the people whose job it is to keep things online started thinking and acting like the people who build the apps in the first place? Writing code to solve their own problems. And boom, that one idea, it changed everything.
See, the old way of doing things was all about being reactive. You'd basically just wait for a fire to start, and then you'd rush in to put it out. But SRE, it's completely proactive. It's like being the fire marshal, using all this data to find the fire hazards and get rid of them before a fire can even begin. It's all about swapping out tedious manual work for clever code and, really importantly, getting everybody, developers, operations, everyone, to work together as one big team.
So you might be wondering, how do SREs actually pull this off? Well, they're not just guessing. They have a kind of secret language that they all speak. And guess what? It's all based on numbers. They take a fuzzy idea like, the website should work well, and they turn it into concrete, measurable data. And to understand this language, the best way is with a simple car analogy. It's perfect. Just imagine you're driving a car. You've got 3 important things to pay attention to: your speedometer, the speed limit, and of course, the consequences if you break that limit, a speeding ticket. Okay, so first up, we have something called an SLI, a service level indicator. This is your speedometer. That's it. It's just a raw measurement. It tells you exactly how your website is doing right this second. Like how fast are your pages loading? Are there any errors when people click? It's not an opinion, it's just a cold, hard facts. All right, next we've got the SLO, the service level objective. This is the speed limit. So you look at your speedometer, your SLI, and then you decide what your goal should be. The team sets a target, something like, we want 99.9% of all videos to start playing in less than a second. That is their objective. That's the target they are aiming for, and honestly, it's the most important number they worry about every single day. And finally, there's the SLA, the Service Level Agreement. You guessed it, this is the speeding ticket. This is the official promise you make to your customers, the ones using your website. If the team fails to meet their goal, that SLO, that speed limit, then there's a real consequence. Maybe customers get a refund or a discount on their bill. And that's what makes hitting that SLO so incredibly important. Okay, so if the main goal is to always stay under the speed limit, does that mean you can never have any fun? Like, can you never try new things or release cool features? Nope, not at all. And this next part, this is probably one of the most brilliant ideas in the whole world of SRE. It's called an error budget. Let's break it down. If your goal, your SLO, is for the website to work perfectly 99.9% of the time, well, that leaves a tiny little bit of room for things to not be perfect, right? That little 0.1%, that's your budget for mistakes. It's the amount of unperfectness you're allowed to have. And here's what that looks like. You see? Almost the entire circle is your reliability target. But that tiny, tiny little slice, that's your error budget. And the key thing to get here is that it's not a bad thing.
It's a planned allowance for risk. It's basically giving the team permission to experiment, to innovate, and yeah, sometimes to fail. Because that's how you make things better.
So how do they spend this budget? Well, it's pretty simple. As long as you have some of that budget left in the bank, it's a green light. Go for it. The team can launch new features, they can try out new ideas. But if you spend it all, if the site has too many bugs or it goes down, bam, red light. Everything stops. No new features can be launched until the website is more stable and you start earning that budget back. It's a super clear, data-driven rule that perfectly balances moving fast with staying safe.
Okay, so we've covered the big ideas. Now let's look at what an SRE actually does day to day. Because trust me, it's a lot more than just staring at charts and graphs on a screen.
One of the biggest rules for an SRE is the 50-50 rule. The goal is to spend no more than half of their time doing something they call toil. Now, toil is just a fancy word for boring, repetitive, manual work. You know, like having to restart a computer by hand every single day, or copying and pasting the same commands over and over. It's the kind of work that a robot could do. So what do they do with the other half of their time? That's the cool part. They write code to automate away all that boring stuff forever. And here's the thing. They're involved in a project from the very, very beginning to the very end. During the planning phase, they're the ones helping to set those super important SLOs. When the team is designing the new feature, SREs are there making sure it's built to be strong and can handle a ton of traffic. While it's being coded, they help add in safety checks. And then, once it's live, yeah, they monitor it. And if something does break, they lead the response. And, really importantly, they always focus on learning from what happened, not pointing fingers and blaming people. Now, you've probably heard another one of these techie terms thrown around, DevOps. And it can get a little confusing, right? Is it the same as SRE? Is it different? Let's clear that up right now. The easiest way to think about it is like this. DevOps is the philosophy. It's the why. It's the big idea that says developers who build stuff and the operations folks who run stuff should work together, not in separate rooms. The goal is to build better things faster. SRE, on the other hand, is the implementation. It's the how. It's a specific set of rules and practices, like SLOs and error budgets, that actually makes the DevOps philosophy happen in the real world. So if DevOps is the goal, SRE is a very specific playbook on how to achieve that goal. So, last but not least, where is all of this headed? I mean, SRE isn't just sitting still. It's constantly evolving, pushing towards an even more reliable future. There are two really cool trends to keep an eye on. The first is something called AI Ops. It's all about using artificial intelligence to look at tons of data and predict when something might go wrong and then automatically fix it before anyone even notices. The second big thing is platform engineering. This is where SREs basically build a super easy-to-use toolkit for all the other developers in the company. It's like paving a golden path so that building a reliable app is the easy way because all the safety and smarts are built right in from the start. And all of this really leads us to one final kind of mind-blowing question. What if websites could heal themselves before we even knew they were sick? That's the ultimate goal here, to build systems that are so smart and so automated that they just take care of themselves. A self-healing internet. Now that is something pretty cool to think about.